The Los Angeles Dodgers received shocking news after their latest game, and this time it had nothing to do with injuries or lineup changes. Shohei Ohtani, the most valuable player in baseball today, was visibly furious in the dugout as the Dodgers' bullpen collapsed in the most critical moments of the game. What made things even more dramatic was the stunning news that manager Dave Roberts had officially disciplined star closer Edwin Díaz following yet another devastating bullpen meltdown. The decision sent shockwaves through the entire Dodgers organization, and the reactions from players, coaches, and media personnel were unlike anything seen in recent memory. What exactly happened on that fateful night? What did Ohtani say after the game? And what does this disciplinary action mean for the future of the Dodgers bullpen? When the final out was recorded and the damage was done, reporters immediately rushed to the Dodgers clubhouse, sensing that something far bigger than a simple loss had just taken place. The atmosphere inside the clubhouse was described by multiple sources as extremely tense and unusually quiet. Players avoided eye contact with each other, and the silence spoke louder than any words could. Everyone in that room knew that what had just happened on the mound was completely unacceptable, especially at this stage of the season. The trouble began in the seventh inning, when the Dodgers held a comfortable lead and the game appeared to be well under control. The starting pitcher had delivered an outstanding performance, and the entire stadium was buzzing with confidence. But the moment the bullpen door opened and Edwin Díaz jogged onto the field, the energy in the stadium shifted almost immediately. What followed was one of the most painful collapses the Dodgers faithful had witnessed all season. Diaz struggled to find his command from the very first pitch, and the opposing batters capitalized on every mistake with ruthless efficiency. By the time manager Dave Roberts finally made his way to the mound to pull Diaz from the game, the lead had completely evaporated. The crowd, which had been so full of excitement just moments earlier, fell into a stunned silence. Cameras quickly panned to the Dodgers dugout, and what they captured made headlines across every major sports network almost instantly. Shohei Ohtani, usually composed and reserved in all situations, was visibly furious. His jaw was tight, his eyes were fixed on the field, and those sitting closest to him in the dugout could clearly see that the Japanese superstar was struggling to contain his frustration. Sources inside the Dodgers organization confirmed that Ohtani said very little after the game, but the expression on his face during those final innings said everything that needed to be said. One clubhouse insider revealed that Ohtani rarely shows visible frustration, which made this moment even more striking for everyone who witnessed it. His teammates fully understood the weight of his reaction. This was not just anger over a single loss. This was the frustration of a player who came to Los Angeles with championship dreams and is watching those dreams being threatened by repeated bullpen failures. Freddie Freeman, one of the most respected voices in the Dodgers clubhouse, addressed reporters after the game and admitted that the mood inside was very heavy. Freeman said that nobody in that room was happy, and that everyone understood the severity of the situation. He added that these kinds of moments test the character of a team, and that the Dodgers needed to respond in the right way. Freeman was careful with his words, but it was clear from his expression that even the veteran first baseman was deeply frustrated by what had unfolded on the mound. Mookie Betts also spoke briefly to reporters and did not hold back his feelings. Betts said that the bullpen situation had become a topic that the team could no longer avoid addressing. He mentioned that the players had full confidence in manager Dave Roberts to make the right decisions, but also emphasized that the level of performance from the bullpen in recent weeks had simply not been good enough. Betts said the team needed answers, and they needed them quickly, because the standings were not going to wait for anyone. After the game, all eyes turned to manager Dave Roberts, who walked into the press conference room with a noticeably serious expression. The room was packed with reporters, and the very first question directed at Roberts was about Edwin Díaz and what the plan was going forward. Roberts paused for a moment before delivering what many are now calling one of the most significant announcements of the entire Dodgers season. He confirmed that Edwin Díaz had been officially disciplined following the latest bullpen collapse. Roberts said this was not a decision made lightly, but one that was absolutely necessary given the circumstances. Roberts explained that the expectations for a player of Díaz's caliber are extremely high, and that those expectations had not been met in recent outings. He said the discipline was not meant to embarrass Diaz or undermine his contributions to the team, but rather to send a clear message that accountability is a core value within the Dodgers organization. Roberts emphasized that every single player on the roster, regardless of their reputation or contract status, is expected to perform at the highest level when called upon. No exceptions would be made, not even for a closer with Diaz's track record. When asked specifically about Ohtani's visible frustration during the game, Roberts did not shy away from the topic. He acknowledged that Ohtani is an extremely competitive individual who cares deeply about winning, and that seeing that frustration on his face was a reflection of just how much this team wants to succeed. Roberts said that Ohtani's passion for winning is one of the greatest qualities he brings to the Dodgers, and that his reaction during the game was completely understandable. At the same time, Roberts said the team needed to channel that frustration into positive energy and use it as motivation moving forward. Sources close to Ohtani revealed that after the game, the Japanese superstar spent considerable time speaking privately with Roberts inside his office. The conversation reportedly lasted nearly 30 minutes, which is highly unusual given Ohtani's typically reserved nature when it comes to team strategy discussions. Those familiar with the situation say that Ohtani made it very clear to Roberts that the bullpen situation needed to be resolved as quickly as possible. Ohtani did not demand any specific action, but he expressed in no uncertain terms that the current level of performance was not acceptable for a team with World Series aspirations. Inside the Dodgers clubhouse, reactions to the disciplinary action against Diaz were mixed. Some players expressed sympathy for the veteran closer, understanding that pitching at the major league level is an incredibly difficult task and that even the best closers in the game go through rough patches. Others, however, privately supported Roberts' decision, believing that a clear message needed to be sent. Several anonymous sources within the organization confirmed that the repeated bullpen collapses had been a growing source of tension among players for several weeks, and that Roberts' decision to take disciplinary action was seen by many as a necessary and overdue response. Edwin Díaz himself addressed reporters in a brief statement following the announcement of his discipline. The Puerto Rican closer appeared visibly emotional as he acknowledged that his recent performances had fallen well below the standard expected of him. He said he takes full responsibility for his struggles on the mound and that he is working as hard as possible to get back to the level that made him one of the most feared closers in all of baseball. Diaz also expressed deep respect for manager Dave Roberts and said he fully accepts the consequences of his recent outings. He added that his one and only goal at this point is to earn back the trust of his teammates, his manager, and the fans who have supported him throughout his career. As the dust begins to settle on one of the most dramatic nights of the Dodgers season, the questions surrounding the bullpen remain very much unanswered. Will Edwin Díaz be able to bounce back from this very public moment of discipline and reclaim his role as the team's primary closer? Will Shohei Ohtani's visible frustration serve as a wake-up call for a roster that has all the talent in the world but has repeatedly been let down by its relief pitching? And most importantly, can Dave Roberts steady the ship before the season reaches its most critical stages? One thing is absolutely certain. The Dodgers are at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming days and weeks will define the direction of their entire season. The talent is there. The championship pedigree is there. But right now, the bullpen remains the one problem that no amount of star power can solve on its own. The entire baseball world is watching, and the Dodgers know that the time for excuses has officially passed. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting and up-to-date sports news and updates.